Hey, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm going to be installing this Hampton Bay Castlegate 44-inch ceiling fan. I got this from Home Depot for $109. It says it can do a room up to 10 by 10, which is about the size of my office. Now, if you don't know how to take down your old fan, I've got two different videos with two different style fans that I've done in the past. So I'll put a card for one of them up top, as well as I'll link both of them down in the video description. First and most important thing you want to do is make sure the power is off. You can get a cheap electrical tester like this just to make sure the power is off. Probably with most fans, you're going to be able to just turn the switch off and that will turn the power off. You might want to put a piece of tape over it just so nobody's going to turn that on while you're working on it. But definitely make sure the power is off before you do any work. If you don't have an electrical tester, I'll put a link for one down in the video description, as well as any other tools I'm going to be using in this video. I'll link everything down there. All right, let's open the box and get started. We've got the instruction manual. Looks like they have their own video that you can check out, but you're watching this video, so you won't need that. Lifetime warranty, FCC declaration of conformity, and here's the instructions. I already started opening this and realized my microphone wasn't on. That's why this is like this, but it was sealed. So the fan blades, there's three of them. One side has like a wood grain, the other side is black. I'm gonna be going with just the black. Here's a cover for the light. Here's some wiring and some hardware and some little instructions, it looks like. All right, the fan motor, AP25. This is, I think, the wireless module for the controller. A little cap here. Here's the light module, the down rod, and the finished cover plate. Let's unpack this guy. We've got the remote. Looks like it has a little wall mount adapter. Put that on the wall. A couple mollies and some screws to attach it to the wall, some wire nuts, and a battery. Warning, do not install this fan with variable speed wall control or wall mounted dimmer switch. It will permanently damage the fan's remote control and cause the fan's function to fail. So you can only use the fan and dimmer control from here. Do not install a wall switch that has that. And there's that wireless module there. Okay, first thing we're going to do is separate these parts. So we just turn this counterclockwise, that comes off. You can see these two screws here attached to those. We're going to loosen those, just a drill with a Phillips head bit. Don't have to take them out, you just have to loosen them because they will slide. Oh, got to loosen them a little more. Got to loosen them enough that that pin can drop out because that holds it in place. Okay, now that came off. Now I'm going to install this on the ceiling. Again, you want to check to make sure that the power is off before you get started. There's no power to any of this stuff. Now, you'll see here I have an extra red wire that's not being used. It's not connected in the outlet. When we ran this, we ran a 3-wire, or is it a 4-wire? I forget what it's called, 3 or the 4-way wire, so there's an extra lead line in there. So if I wanted to install a fan control switch over there, I could. But as we read in the direction warnings, do not do that with this fan. So I didn't do that with the last fan either that was in here. Now this is a pancake box that is screwed right to the framing. This is like one of the most secure ways you can install a fan. You just want to make sure before you do this, whatever's up here, if you just had a light fixture, it might not be strong enough to hang a fan on. So just make sure this is strong enough that it's gonna hold a fan and the weight of all the fan and it's spinning and everything, or you could have catastrophic failure and somebody could get injured. And if it's not strong enough, you're gonna want to change that out. They make different types of fan boxes to be able to hold fan weight. So we're just gonna run the wires through the center there, and I'm going to bend them up like that so it holds it in place. And I've got the screws that I took out from the old fan that I'm going to use to attach the new bracket. Okay, that's pretty strong. Next, I'm going to assemble the fan. Now you'll notice there's a switch here. That should be to reverse the direction of the fan blades. So normally in the summer you have the fan pushing the air down, and in the winter you have the fan pushing the air up. Really depends on which way you want to circulate the air. I'm going to start with the little cup first. That goes on like that. Then this plate that we took off of this guy, make sure that it's facing down. Then the big plate, and that's going to be facing this direction. And then our down rod. Now that has a rubber gasket on it, so it takes a little bit of force to get it down in there. Like that. We're going to push it all the way up because now we've got to attach it here. Loosen up the two screws that are already in here. And inside this package. All right, inside that small bag with all the screws, you'll find this pin and this cotter pin right here. And we're gonna put this on next. Just make sure the wires aren't in the way. Slide that down like that. There's a hole on each side. We're gonna line up the down rod and stick the pin in the hole all the way through. And then on the other side, there's a hole in the end, and we're gonna put the cotter pin through that hole. Then tighten up these two set screws. And slide this cap back down. Now I'm ready to hang it. So at the top of the down rod here, there's like this little ball attached to the down rod. And that's gonna slide right in this little opening here, and the ball's gonna sit hanging down from there. Alrighty, here we go. All right, like that. Next, I'm gonna set up the remote and the receiver. So we're gonna take off the back panel here and throw the battery in. Now you can see these little tabs here. You wanna change these if you have other wireless controllers that might have the same code. Like I have this exact same fan I installed in the bedroom next door. So I'm just gonna switch one of these numbers. And then same thing on the receiver. I'm just gonna switch one of those numbers. All right, so I just switched the one just to make it easy. Put the plate back on here. Now I gotta install this up top. Now this next part doesn't really make much sense to me, and it's very frustrating. They want you to slide this thing in the space that's in between where the wires come out of the top. There's a little space here, and this sits in there. And there's just not enough room to do that, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, there's no way. All right, so I could not get that thing to slide in there. And what was actually going on was this thing was set so that the pipe was sticking up just a hair. So you can see the little play here. So what I did was I loosened that screw and then held the ball so that the weight was dangling, and retighten this. And now hopefully that gives me just enough slack that I can get this through, because it was just pinching the wires. It wasn't actually sliding in there. So let's try it again. All right, so I was able to get it in here. It is incredibly tight, and all the wires coming out of the fan are right here coming out of one side, and all of the wires coming out of the ceiling are right here, which is what they recommend that you do. Have one go one way and one go the other way. I wish that they designed this in a way that there was just a little bit more play here. This is just a little too tight for comfort. On the back side here, you can see they've got the ground wire attached, and that was like right pointing into the box. So you had to pull that out of the way, and make sure you feed this little yellow wire through before you jam that thing in too. All right, so now I'm gonna wire it up. Basically just plug that into that. There's a ground coming out of the fan, there's a ground attached to the bracket, and there's a ground coming out of the house. So I'm gonna wire those three together. Then coming out of the wireless module, there's a black and white wire. I'm gonna wire those in to the house right here. And it does come with an extension cable for this. So I assume that's if you have a down rod, if you're on a slope ceiling, that's all that's for. All right, so I've got all three ground wires on this side. These are like a braided wire, so I just like to twist these up, make them nice. If they were solid wire, I'd use linesman pliers and spin these all together, but because they're braided, you can't really spin them. So I just get them so that all of the ends are all together, even, and then put the cap on, and when you twist it, everything will kind of lock into itself. All right, there's the ground. Just tuck that out of the way. I'm gonna plug this in. Like that, tuck that out of the way. Same thing here, just twist the braided wires. White with white. Black with black. And tuck them out of the way. And then we gotta get all those wires tucked in there and get this cap on. So, reverse the process from earlier. There's those two screws that we loosened. Gotta get those lined up. Spin it on like that. That yellow wire's in the way, so this is going to take a little bit of time to make sure that things aren't in the way, and just tucked in here nicely. Okay, once that's on, I can tighten these back up. My drill doesn't fit. Tighten those by hand as much as I can get them. And all that's doing is holding this cap on, so it shouldn't need to be crazy tight. Okay, there was that. That part was incredibly frustrating, just to get all those wires to go up there and not be in the way so I could actually attach this thing. All right, so there's that. We should be done with that section. Now I'm going to attach the blades. They just slide into a slot on the end here like this and go right in place. And then there's 3 screws we got put in. I'm not going to tighten that until I get all 3 screws in, and then I'll tighten all of them down. Now on this side here, there's a little indentation so you can get the screw to that back screw. Can't quite get it on the right angle without getting it over here. So let's tighten them all up now. I just want to be just tight enough. Don't want to strip anything out. All right, so there's the fan blades all installed. All right, so the next instructions in the book are actually a little bit wrong. So let me just show you quickly. Hopefully you can see them here, the black on black, but there's 3 screws here, and on the light fixture, there's 3 screws here. Now it says that you should be able to loosen these screws, and you gotta remove that one because there's not a slot, but with these 2, it says you can loosen them and slide them through there, but you can see they have that spiky washer on there. That doesn't actually fit through the hole. So you have to remove these screws completely as well as these screws completely, because we're gonna mount this bracket, and there's the same kind of mounting on the back of this bracket here, and those spiky things just don't fit through the holes. Now we're gonna take the light out of there, and we're gonna mount this to the fan. Now, just like the fan blades, I just put the 3 screws in loose so that I make sure that it's all on there good and before I tighten it down. All right, so now we got to connect the lights. There's white and blue and white and black. They're actually labeled which ones you want to go to, but the white one says connect to white and the black one says connect to blue. So let's do that. And they have like a little tab on the side of them that you have to line up. And you push them in, and they kind of are a little snug once you get them in tight, so should be good. Now the hard part's going to be getting this wire to stay in there. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then lining up the screw holes. There's one. Same thing, just get the screw started. We'll get all 3 started, and then we'll tighten them down. Now to put the glass dome on, get that in there. There we go, righty-tighty. All right, moment of truth. Let's turn it on and see if it lights up. All right, there's power. Power's on at the switch. I'm gonna try it with the controller here. I got nothing. Oh, there we go, I had to push the light button. So that's the light on and the light off. Let's try the fan. Ah, very nice. So you click it once, click it a second time, so it starts on the highest mode, lowest mode, click it again. So there's 3 fan modes, high, medium, and low. Turn that back off again. Now I'm pretty sure this is dimmable, so I'm gonna hold the button and see if it dims. Yep. It's dimming very slowly, but it's dimming. And now it's getting brighter again. Cool. Let's turn that down a little bit. It's a little too bright. Right in my face. Well, there we go. It is installed and working great. If you got anything out of this video, give it a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you subscribe, make sure you click the notification bell right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified when I release new videos. And make sure to check out all the links down in the video description for all the videos that I talked about and the tools and everything. So thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video.